welcome to another edition of the Electricity Podcast, where we discuss with topical issues with accomplished personalities in society. Today, I am bringing to you a media juggernaut, someone who has seen it all. He has seen it from the era of newspaper, ordinary television, radio, and now streaming. And of course, despite all of this, he has stayed consistent. He has been able to not just practice professionally, but has also mentored a lot of people. And in fact, during my undergraduate studies, he was doing his Ph.D. In Adeleke University here. Then. So today, welcome and join me while I introduce to you Dr. Femi Adefila, the founder of Brave FM.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
It's an honor to have this interaction with you.
It's an honor to have you. You're welcome to my office.
So, for someone like me, people of my generation, who see media not just as a profession, but as an hobby. So, I would like to know what inspired you to go into journalism. You can give us the background story of how it started and why you ventured into journalism.
Okay, thank you very much. You want me to travel back the memory lane? Yeah, passion inspired me to venture into journalism. Actually, let me tell you a little story. My brother, Otumba Adefila, who was my sponsor, my mentor, then wanted me to study law. He obtained the JAM form and he mailed it to me at the famous Christ Graduate when I was in Form 5. But I met a friend of mine, Shola Wuni, who now works at the Federal Polytechnic Graduate. And together, we discovered what we called mass communication. He was my study mate, my study partner, and we discussed how influential, how important, and how famous journalists were. Now, why can't we step into their shoes? So, children can be very impressionable.
Yes.
So I caught the bug, and of course, I changed and I switched into journalism. So I filled in mass communication, and that was the beginning of studying mass communication, because I believe that mass communication is a career path that will allow me to make impact in my immediate environment, in my nation. And I love the glamour that comes with it, the influence, and the fact that you can hold government to account. You can speak truth to power, and you can actually influence governance in your environment. You can be important in your immediate community. Those were the reasons why I ventured into journalism, and I have no regrets.
You
It's
said
been a
your
good venture.
friend mentioned your friend during your research with your friend.
Yeah.
You discovered some journalists
Mm.
who were making waves. Who were some of the journalists that were making waves?
The delegate of this world, the rare posts of this world. And you watch television, you see Yinka Craig, you see those Shine Bobo on television. How they pronounce words, their courage, the way they marshal their views and stuff like that. I mean, you wanted to be like them. They were role models. The John Momons of this world. They were role models that you watch on television. NTA News at 9 was the in thing then. It was a must watch in most homes. You gather together, you will watch NTA. And when you see them come around, when you see them read the news, you can't but be fascinated by the glamour, by the professionalism, and the excellence in what they did then. So those were the reasons why I just got encouraged.
Talking about impact, what are some of the memorable moments you had on the field?
Yes, the first thing is this: God has been very good to me. In this career path, I've been very lucky. Lucky in the sense that I've been at the right places and at the right time. As a youth corps in 1992, when Senator Isiaka Adefila was the governor, Let me tell you for free, I was a copper and I was the State House correspondent for Washington State Broadcasting Corporation. That was a privileged position. So I worked with the governor directly, and that enabled me to visit places. I was very, very involved in the build up to June 12 election. I was in Jos for the SDP convention. So I reported these things live, and that kept a niche for me within the broadcast space of the Southwest. So I was a voice that was respected as a reporter, reporting the governor. And I didn't take it for granted. I saw it as an opportunity. You know, when you see opportunity, you must grab it. Opportunity to make a mark. So I grabbed it with excellence, with commitment, with perseverance, and with hard work. So beyond that, having a radio station of my own, and you can shape in public opinion. You know, the role of the media actually is that we are privileged to shape opinion, to influence opinion. That's what we do. We set agenda. The agenda the media set is what society follows. But the media is very powerful. You remember Thomas Jefferson, the third American president, in 1787, in a letter he wrote to one Edward Carrington, he said, if I have opportunity to choose between government without newspaper or newspaper without government, I would choose the latter, newspaper without government. The newspaper then represented the media. That was the main means of mass communication then. That speaks to the importance of the media in the democratic space, the democratic governance, in the constitutional democracy. The media is very powerful and important. We shape opinion, we influence opinion, we hold government accountable.
Talking about media shaping opinions, do you not think that nowadays media, instead of, in the bid to shape opinions, do not fan the ember of discord in society? Because whatever we give life to gets to flow, gets to become, agenda setting of the theory of the media. Becomes the topic that people discuss, and in the course of that, do you not think that media get to, sometimes in the wrong way, influence the masses?
Well, there's no perfect system on earth. There are imperfections in every system. And I won't downplay the fact that some people may take advantage of the power that we wield and they will use the power irresponsibly. But I'm speaking about socially responsible media. That's what we call social responsibility theory of journalism.
Yes.
That means that the power that we wield as journalists comes with concomitant responsibility to the society. That you cannot just use your power against the society, but be socially responsible in wielding your power. The Nigerian media in particular, we've been very, very good. I must say, I'm going to give Nigerian media 70% in charting the cause for the nation, in championing the cause of the people, in being the mouth of the people, in giving voice to the voiceless, and representing people who are not privileged to be in power. That's the essence of the media. And I think is when you wield the power responsibly that you can be seen as a newspaper, a television, a radio out, or even social media platform that is socially responsible.
So some people are of the opinion that since government regulates what the content that get out from each media organization, that government should also come up with, laws that guide social media usage or information dissemination of social media.
Government
What
does
do you
not
say about that?
government does not regulate. For instance, Rave 91.7 FM and Western Spring Television are the two platforms on my table. Government has no business with my content. The National Broadcasting Commission set the broadcast code that you must be socially responsible. You must be ethical. We cannot be left unhinged like loose cannons. There must be some framework, constitutional framework, legal framework, ethical framework that guides our profession and the conduct of our business. So we do that. And I believe that the same ethical code must be set for the social media. Because citizen journalism is the in thing now. You are sitting before me now.
Yes, sir.
You are a journalist. You have a radio station of your own. You have a podcast. You can influence opinion. Whatever you say will go a long way. That's believability. People consume your products. So there must be a way, I won't say regulate, but to set the tone for the ethical conduct of those who have opportunity to have podcasts or to broadcast news on social media platforms. If we leave them unaged, maybe the beginning of our end, because the media is very powerful. Don't forget Rwanda. The genocide that happened in Rwanda started on radio. Some people use radio irresponsibly. And within a tickle of an eye, we lost millions of souls. Millions perished. People are not ethical. People believe that they could use the radio to galvanize public opinion in the wrong way. So that is why I believe that one way or the other, I won't suggest regulation because I don't want the media to be stifled. I don't want people in government because let me tell you something. The government and the media will never be on the same page.
Why?
Why? Because our reasons for existence are different. People in government, what they hate most is to get exposed. Is for their conduct, what they do under the table, the beneath the curtain deals to be exposed. And the duty of the media is to expose these things. Section 22, the Constitution as amended in Nigeria, gives the media the power to hold government accountable. When they refer to us as the fourth estate of the realm, that describes our role in a democratic space, holding government accountable, holding government responsible. Because nobody, power corrupt, absolute power corrupt, absolutely. We are the restraint so that we don't have monarchical order. We don't have president that will behave irresponsibly, that will behave like a dictator, that he does not. And let me tell you something, power is very sweet. If care is not taken, you don't know when you cross the red line from being a democratically elected president to a dictator. Because power is very sweet. In a country like Nigeria where we have bootlickers, where people around you will form a ring around you, they won't allow you to see what is happening in society. They will tell you what you want to hear. They will lie to you that all is well when all is not well. Things are rosy when nothing is rosy. When we are going through a dark state, as a people, they will tell you, don't mind them. There's no hunger in the land. Everything is well. So if there is no media that will be the conscience of the society, that's going to be a problem. That's why the media is very important. That's why Thomas Jefferson could say, I prefer newspaper without government than government without newspaper in 1787. Because when you talk of democracy, you're talking of the togetherness of everybody, the involvement of everybody, regardless of the social status. You are the lowest rung of the ladder or the highest rung of the ladder, you are involved. Your opinion counts. Your interest must matter. That's why people in government, but people that are responsible and responsive. That's why I say that empathy is the greatest asset of a good leader. If you are not empathic as a leader, you can't lead people well. Empathy is about considering other people's interests. Though I wield this power, I have this red pen in trust for the people. Power is a responsibility. Leadership is not a badge that you wear. It's a call to duty. You see, the problem we have in Africa is that our leaders don't see power as a call to duty. They see it as a badge. It is a responsibility that you must deny yourself. And you must, empathy will allow you to be able to deny yourself and put the interests of others first before yours. That's why that makes you a leader. Servant leadership.
Some of my friends do not read newspapers again. In fact, they don't read news again because they are of the view that each time they go online to read news, they only meet bad news. So, and many of us do not have the media knowledge, the media to consume information like that. So, do you think media in Nigeria report more of bad news
It's a
than the
global
good
phenomenon,
news?
my brother.
And in a situation where government is able, in fact, is even able to do a whole lot of things, the media neglect the good aspect and instead report the bad aspect.
Yeah, I understand that this tendency to be adversarial, because it's adversarial reportage, adversarial journalism. I don't know the nature of man. Bad news sells more than good news. When a man bites a dog, it's
Yeah,
no
but
news.
the moment the man
When we have a
bites the dog,
reverse, a reverser, and the man bites a dog, it's great news. When somebody leaves Oshogo in the morning and arrives in Lagos safely, it's no news. But if something happens at Shagam, it crashes and dies, it's news. I don't know what happens to a human mind. It gravitates more to bad news than good news. That's what the media feast on. That's what the media fixed on. I agree with you. But I believe that we should tread the path of solution journalism these days, rather than adversarial journalism. It's about finding solutions to society problems, societal challenges, rather than highlighting them and buttressing them. I mean, when you just say screaming headlines, Boko Haram kills 42. But when government, military troops, the military, arrest or neutralize Boko Haram, it does not enjoy as much screaming headline as if the reverse was the case. That is a major challenge in our in our trade. And as and as the practitioners of this trade, you must be cognizant of that. But let me answer your question about the preponderance of people within your age bracket not watching the media. I have a 30-year-old daughter who is a financial analyst, and my son who is a software engineer, my daughter, software engineer. I just returned from the United States. Each time I'm on news, they're on something like they are not interested. And it's because they don't, you guys don't have the, it does not, you are more prone to entertainment, something that is soft than hard news. We were brought up in conversational age where we will sit down in the living room, we'll be told stories, they will share stories with you. You guys are you're on your own, you're on your phone, you're in your room, you're on your laptop, you're on your iPad. There's no congregation, no confluence of idea as we used to have. And some of us in my age will love me. I told you about 9 o'clock news,
no,
NTA.
yeah,
That was a must watch in every home. If NEPA did not strike, because you want to know what is happening around you. But another thing is this: you guys get to know what is happening on your phones in a very soft manner.
yes.
Not, you don't consume it as much as we consume it. Just want to know the headline and you run away with it. But we want to sit down, listen to news, analyze news, and of course, get facts. So I understand.
What do you see as the future of that individualism towards news consumption?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a replacement. That is social media. As news breaks, you know what is up, but we don't have the details. I run two traditional media platforms: the television and the radio station, Rave 91.7 FM and Western Spring Television. And I know we have a challenge. Social media is gradually pushing us off. That's why we are all equally big on social media now. Channels has about 1.9 billion views on YouTube. That's huge. Makes so much money. I wish I could be there. I'm working towards it. Because people now consume our content on social media platforms more than on the traditional platforms. So you have got to tweak your ideology. You go back to the idealization table as a station. You juggle things around. You tweak your philosophy. You tweak your ideology to suit the realities of today. That is the reality. Let me confess to you. At the beginning, it was just newspaper. Later, radio came. Later, television. Now we have social media. At the beginning, it was industrial revolution. Later, automation. What do you have now? DI, AI,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. So that is life. It's the nature of life. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is but a passing phase. But if you want to be relevant, you got to tweak and develop an adaptation strategy. You adapt to the realities of today. AI is the in thing. Social media is the in thing. You got to speak the language of today to be relevant.
Something like AI would come. We discussed the theories, the models, and everything, but we never thought that it could become like this. Twitter was the main thing that we were thinking that Twitter would take over everything. But with AI now, how do you, as not just a media practitioner, but a media organization owner, relate with this?
I have no
Do you
option.
not see it as a threat to the traditional media that you?
It's a threat, of course. But that's why I tell you that adaptation is the in thing. You must be able to adapt to the reality of today. You deploy AI, you go on Google, you search something out, the answer pops up. What's that? Is AI.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence will aid our knowledge system. No, my son told me something last week when I was with him in Atlanta, and he said AI is a threat to every knowledge-based work. Because if you are a software engineer now, AI is replacing what you do. That's why Google is sacking, Facebook is sacking, Microsoft sacked. Because what you used to do as a software engineer is being done by AI. There's a full AI radio station now in Lagos. All I need to do is to crop your voice once, synchronize it into the system, into my database, and I read news with your voice without you being there. I must confess to you, it comes with challenges, and I'm really actually scared. What becomes of humanity?
The future of job.
The future of people's jobs. And when there are no jobs, there will be decadence in the society. When there are no jobs, what happens to humanity? How do people feed? What are the social vices that will come with lack of job? How do we manage that? And I think we got to think about, I love AI. It makes life easy. But we must manage the challenges that come with the development of AI, artificial intelligence. And it's bound to happen. And I can trust that with the with human capacity, we'll be able to stem the tide and to manage the development of AI so that it does not rupture humanity absolutely. Because already people are losing jobs and they're losing jobs to AI fast.
Talking about, something earlier, you mentioned media attacking government. So, and looking at it, a whole lot of journalists in Nigeria today got named, became popular because of their attack on government. And I find it sometimes disturbing because what about other niches? What about other bits? Business?
Yeah, it's right. Because governance is the most important subject in that constitutes media content. You are interested in what is happening to your future as a person. Because governance is so important that your future lies in what government does right or wrong. That's why reporting government is very, very important and germane to our collective survival as a people. I'm not particularly a fan of mindless attack of government. I believe in adversarial journalism that you must ask hard questions. You must ask questions from those in government that probe their activities. There's no doubt about that. But you don't make enemy of those in government. You don't become so antagonistic that it will appear that you have something up your sleeves. I don't believe in that. But I believe in asking hard questions. I don't believe in pampering people in government. Like I told you, they become dictators. They will abandon the reason why they are there. They be tempted to trample upon us and upon our right. If there's no media that is speaking for the people, we are the conscience of society. The fourth essence of the realm, it describes our role as watchdogs. That's what we do. We are the watchdogs. Because if we don't do that, they will not be socially responsible to the people. They will not be conscious and cognizant of their responsibility to the people. That's why we are there in the mix. That's why we're there in the mix. To call the attention to the realities outside the spoils of office. Office governance can be very sweet. That you become very relaxed.
I understand you were once in government.
I was, and I'm speaking from experience. I was, yeah, I was media assistant to the deputy governor of Osun State. Then I became special advisor to the Minister of State for Defense, and I'm speaking from experience. Yeah,
how was it working from inside when you used to be, seeing things from the outside?
Yeah, as a media assistant, yes, I can tell you there's a whole lot of difference. Okay. Because working from within is now your responsibility as a public relations person. In America, we call them spin doctors, to defend the interests of your principal, regardless.
And does that not prick your conscience?
It will, but it's a total negation to what you were doing before. Your duty before, as a journalist, as a correspondent, perhaps was to expose governance misdeeds, report government without biases, without sentiment. Now, your job is to ensure that you protect the interests of your principal and ensure that she gets or you get good reportage in the media. And the media is fair to her. And things do happen. Public relation and media, they are two different things.
Yes.
They are two different things. You are packaging your subject. You are packaging your principal. You are packaging your client to look good in the eyes of the society. But a media man doing his job does not care about packaging. He says the truth. Speak truth to power. Hold government accountable. Exposes the rot in governance. And call them to question.
I think if as a media person, someone who used to write a report about government misdeeds and talk about their policies, got inside and got to realize that people, he or a principal, is not wrong. He's not actually right, because what people are actually saying about he or she is correct. But because you are inside now, you have to, do a proper profiling, media pally, help your principal to have the best face in the media. So, do you not feel sometimes like, oh God, I think I have to resign. No, this system is wrong than I expected.
Let me say this: a media man that is employed as a public relation person in government, his duty primarily is to allow his or her principal to know the importance of the media, that we must engage the media constructively. When you are at the table, you must be able to tell them that whatever we do, you must be cognizant of the fact that the media is watching and they will report. You are to bring it to their consciousness, the relevance and the importance of the media, and that in itself should guide them to do what is good and what is just. Okay. So, you see, Egmoba Yononuga, great journalist, prolific writer, respected man of the pen when he was on the other side. He wrote brilliantly well for the news. Now he speaks for Mr. President.
I read his press release yesterday.
Mr. President, and most often, let me confess something to you. It's not all the time that the people outside are right and government is wrong. But that's what we call trust deficit between the government and the people. You see, the story yesterday may be right, that guy is actually a scammer. The lapses in our system can allow someone, a well-intentioned, I don't know whether that word is wrong, or a scammer par excellence like him could have put that up as it were. But the people will not believe how he sneaked into the National Assembly, got budget approved for him. He has been holding meetings with ambassadors. He never got official letter of appointment. At least that was the government fashion. But Nigerians don't believe. It's not only in Nigeria, even all over the world. Because over the years, they have been deceived, they have been lied to, so they see a culture of deceit. So they don't believe in anything government says. They believe that government all the time will always lie.
Was there any experience like that for you when you were inside?
Yes, let me tell you an example that was particularly very nasty. On Nigeria Independence Day,
What?
that should be 2013 or 14, 2013 actually. I was special advisor to the Minister of State for Defense. And actually, she was acting Minister of Defense then. There was no Minister of Defense substantive. And we went to the parade ground. My minister being a lady, I don't know what happened the previous night. Perhaps she slept late. She was dizzy and she actually slept. She nearly fell. But she was rescued by principals, by the ADC and the military assistants standing next to her. But journalists caught the picture. They got her. And it became a challenge for me. I called my friends in the media. Femi, we've seen the pictures. What happened to your principal? Can you imagine the Minister of Defense falling at a parade? That was a scandal waiting to happen. But I find a way to interface with my people. Now, perhaps she was dizzy. She's a human being after all. Anything could have happened. These people in government, they are not superhumans. They are just privileged people. They are ordinary mortals like us. They are human beings. There's nothing special about them. They are just privileged to be where they are. So don't dress them in the borrowed robes of superpowers, of superhuman beings. They are not. But the report was went viral. It's in my memoir, and it was one of my most challenging period working for the Minister of State for Defense. I didn't like the fact that my minister was not well reported. She was reported as not well reported in the media. And instead, I enjoyed great media because I had my friends as editors, we were Ph.D.s, we were friends, and I actually told my principal the right thing to do, that we should give media access. I was one that suggested that we should embed the media in the front line of the military fighting Boko Haram in the northeast there, so that they can believe us that the Nigerian military was making marks and we're actually doing what we should do.
Okay. So, when you left government after the end of your tenure, what did that experience change in you in how you report stories?
Well, it's just
especially about government activities.
That's right. My sojourn in government taught me that there is the danger of single narrative. It taught me the danger of single narrative, that there's always the other side of the coin. And it's better for you to hear from government. It's not all the time that they lie to us. This belief that everything government says is a lie, is a deceit, it is a scam, is not always true. They have their own challenges. That it's important to give government a platform to speak. That every conversation, there are two sides to the coin. And that's assisted me to come up with programs on Rave 91.7 FM to speak truth to power, but give those in power opportunity to defend themselves. We call it balancing. You balance your story. There are two sides to every coin. You listen to both sides of the coin and you allow people to form their opinion. You are not supposed to be opinionated as a journalist. No.
Aren't you supposed to pick a side?
No.
In reporting?
It's unethical. It's unethical. Your job is to report as it is. Your sentiment, your emotions, your preferences.
I was referring to editorial writing actually.
Yeah, editorial page takes a stand. That's why it's a page. That is different. The ideology, the philosophy of editorial page is very different. But when you come to news reportage, you are not supposed to have an opinion. Even you are an anchor of a program on television or radio, you're supposed to be an umpire that gives everybody opportunity to express themselves. So what I don't like these days is that you find anchor persons being opinionated, overtly opinionated. Is unethical. It's unethical, but because anything goes these days.
That's what sells.
You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to present the fact as it is. You're not supposed to nail government. I will nail you. I put it to you. Those are not words of a trained journalist. You ask your questions, hard questions. You can be adversarial, tough questions, but in the most respectful manner. Because anybody on your program is your guest. And as Africans, you must be hospitable to your guest. You ask them tough questions in the most decent manner. That is where training comes in. You use your training to deploy the best of language and to get the best of answers from your guest on personality interview programs. Being rude, being agitated, being opinionated were not things I was taught in my mass communication classes. And I have a Ph.D. in mass communication.
Yes, we will actually talk about that.
Yeah. So you don't have to do that. You ask your questions in the most decent, most humane and obeying manner.
You proposed something earlier, solution journalism.
Yeah.
Do you not think whoever engages in that will be termed a sellout?
No. You can't be a sellout. On our opinion pages, editorial pages, you can state the problems and provide the solutions. That's what I'm saying. For instance, insecurity is the main issue in Osun State today. As we move closer to the 15th of August, we are going to have a gubernatorial election. There have been cases of killings all over the place, perpetrated by politicians, and harassment. Journalists, we report it, but we're supposed to engage security agencies. This is what we have noticed. There must be solutions. We are sitting down here because there's security. We can't afford to rupture our security system. We have to encourage our security architecture to function and function appropriately. Anybody can be kidnapped. Anybody can be murdered. So we need security apparatus and architecture to be functional optimally. So you can't close your eyes to the ills of the society and just enjoy reporting it without saying this is what we can do, without compromising the reportage of the truth. That's solution journalism.
You founded Wave FM in 2015.
That's right.
Why in Osun State? Why not Osun?
I'm from Osun. Why not Osun? I asked that question. I was in Abuja and I was doing well. I was on NT International. I was doing a program called Insight. I was well paid. I had my friends. So when I had my license, by God's grace, April 2015, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan gave me my license along with others. And I told people I wanted to return to Osun. And this is my state. This is Osun. And I believe that I noticed a gap in the broadcast enterprise in Osun, in the broadcast landscape. I wanted to bridge the gap. That is, and I thank God we brought youth-oriented, youth-centric, objective, analytical, adversarial style of journalism to Osun. And those radio stations that came after me have been emulating us. We actually set the pace. When we came to Osun, I came to Osun to define the moment. That's why we say Ray 91.7 FM, define the moment. Amazing music, quality talk. To make a difference. There are 4 million people in Osun. Why not? They deserve beautiful, excellent urban journalism and radio broadcasting.
And how has the journey been? Because I actually asked that question because you are not just setting up a media organization to report, but also to make profit.
That's right.
So because I looked, Osun State, aside from politics, what is the other
That- that-
consequential
that-
thing that happens in the state?
that's the assumption. Everybody cancelled. Why not? But I want to thank God. God has been very good. He's been very benevolent. We came to Oshun. Most radio stations gestate for about 6 months and a year. I think I made money the first month or the third month.
You mind telling us about
Yeah. I mean, what see, let me tell you something. There's a trajectory to making money in broadcasting. All you need to do first is to create content that resonates with the people. You must get the buy-in of the people. They must own your platform. They don't need to like you. They don't need to know where you are. But when they tune in, there must be a slice of the bread that they like. Either you are a youth, you are an adult, or you are middle age. There must be a program that fascinates you. That was what we did. We sat down, we designed a content. You see, this is a content-driven business. It's about content. Content is what people consume on radio or television station. Once they can listen or they can watch, and there's something that fascinates that they like, they will watch again. And that's what you sell. It is the number of people listening to you per time that the data of media buyers in Lagos we get. And they will patronize you. Oh, that's a new radio station in Osun State. Rave, 91.7 level. Be listened to. MTN, Piam, Kinikon, they put the advert. And you make money. But if people do not like what you do, they see you as pro-government, they see you as not giving them the kind of meal that they want to consume, they won't listen to you and you won't have the number. It's a data-driven business too, I must confess to you. Media buyers do just give you advice. They do their research and it's scientific based. That this radio station, between 9 and 10, about 1 million people listen. Let's put an advert there. Because they are putting the advert not because they like you. They want people to listen to their message. So that's what happens. That's a trajectory. You must first design content that resonate with the people, that get the ears or the eyeballs of the people. It is that listenership or viewership that will attract patronage, that you now package as data, sell, and you make money. That's how it works.
Yeah, I actually I agree with you because why should I not?
Yeah. After 8 years, we started television. And people say, television is more. I said, look, that's my passion. Because radio was actually the low-hanging fruit for me in 2015. Television is more expensive.
Yeah.
And I've been a television guy all my life. I've never worked on radio. I've been television on Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, NT International. But television is very expensive. So I chose the path of radio in 2015.
Yeah.
And here we are. And later, God birthed a television station for us in 2018.
I understand that over the 11 years of Reshaping, it wouldn't have been just like a walk in the park or a bed of roses.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you?
Where challenges, electricity has been a challenge. Every business venture has inherent challenges. It's the nature of life. What we assist you to survive the storm, the turbulence, is God Almighty, perseverance, commitment, and passion. Some people will just quit. But I don't quit. I'm not a loser. But quitters don't win. So when challenges come, when storm come, you face it like a man. It's your passion that will drive you. It's your passion that will drive you at that point in time. I'm passionate about broadcasting. I love broadcasting. I'm a broadcast entrepreneur. It's the only business I've done all my life. And I love it. So challenges that come, power here, salary payment, the media agencies not paying. Or you say that you aggregate everything. You juggle things around. You go on your knees, you pray. You pray for favor and grace. Then you make things happen.
Some people are of the opinions that, myself included actually, that media owners are the ones enjoying the largesse. whereas the
Staff.
the staff,
Where,
they are
where
like Chief Obafemi Awolowo described them in his book, the low-term and jet-term into society.
Yeah, that was then at the beginning. Those who went into newspaper journalism are not particularly the best of the society. But things have changed. You have lawyers, you have medical doctors within the media space now who love media. Don't forget the fact that I'm not just a media entrepreneur. I'm a media practitioner myself because I became a media owner. And I also function within the media academic space. So the three tripod I sit on it: ownership, being a practitioner, and academics. Three, I got it. And I prioritize the interests of my staff. I have staff I've been with 2015. If I don't pay them, they won't be here.
What if they do not
And
have
I
what
tell
if they do
them
not have an option?
there are options. When I came to Osun, there were 7 radio stations. I was the 7th radio station. Now we have 38 radio stations. Yeah, it will shock you.
I think it was your radio station was the last radio station I knew
I don't know.
before I entered university.
There are
And since then,
so
I've
many
not
other radio
been
stations.
familiar
Fresh
with other
FM
stations.
came, Diamond. There's so many other radio stations. Many are still coming.
I
In
know-
fact, in Osun, in the last 3 months, 2 radio stations have sprung up. Yeah, but they're still gestating. That's what I'm saying. It's about content. It's about what they broadcast. What they broadcast, does it attract attention? Does it command people's attention? If you command it, then you retain it. That's how it works. So many radio stations, and we have won consistently the best radio station. We are 10 years. We'll be 11th year. We'll be 11-year-old on the 26th of November. So we have won the best broadcast station in Osun State in the last 8 years, consistently. And that is a validation of the quality of our content.
I asked the question because myself and some of my friends with whom we studied mass communication were discouraged by the remuneration and, in fact, the delay in the payment of salaries.
Well, there are media houses that delay the payment of salary.
And in this case, media practitioners cannot report their bosses.
They do. Yeah. That's what. You see, there's an ombudsman established by the Nigerian Union of Journalists and Practitioners where you can report if you have not been paid. Even NUJ, they can picket a station that doesn't pay. Then if I tell my fellow radio owners that not paying your staff is like denying your factory raw materials. It doesn't make sense. You produce soap and you don't put chemicals in the machine, you won't get soap produced. If you are a broadcast organization and you don't pay your staff, where will the voices come? That will give you the content that you like, that you want. Can you do it alone? I don't speak on radio until Sunday. I do a program between 1 and 2, issues in Christendom. That's the only program I do. There are newscasters that come as early as 8 or 5 in the morning. It will be unfair, unjust, and evil not to pay that person. Comes as early as 8 o'clock and 5 in the morning and put in quality hours. No.
There's a newspaper organization in Nigeria. During my internship with the Nation newspaper, I did my internship at the Nation newspaper headquarters in Lagos. So, and in many of my reporting outings with people from other organizations, News Telegraph, Punch, This Day, yes, and others, independent and co. So, some of them that actually came from an organization I would not actually want to, say that their boss.
There are organizations like that.
Because they said their boss said that if he couldn't pay their salary, their
ID card is their meal ticket. I've had it said. Yes, it's very irresponsible. It's unethical. It's unfair. It's unjust for you as a business owner, not only media organization owner, not to pay your staff. If you can afford to, you should pay your staff. You prioritize it. Because that is, and let me tell you something. If you don't pay people for 6 months and they still come to work, you are paying them indirectly that you don't know.
How?
Will they feed on
Understand.
on nothing, you're actually paying them. Your system is paying them. They are taking advantage of the system. That's why they're still coming. Your resources are being taken away. So why not pay them so that you have the gut to ask questions, to probe into whatever they do? It doesn't make sense not to pay staff. It's being penny wise, pound foolish. That's right. Are just shooting yourself in the feet.
I spoke about you doing a PhD in Adeleke University. What
Yeah.
inspired your decision to go back?
Well, I want to thank Professor, oh, I forgot his name, that died. Who was the vice chancellor then?
Professor Dayo
Wow. You know, he was a professor of mass communication.
Yes.
So I went to him to discuss some things, and apparently he Googled me out and he read my profile that I have 2 master's degree and I've read mass communication. I said, you must come and do your PhD here. He actually broke out the idea. So when I returned home, I called my wife. She was in the US. I said, this idea came. He said, yes, that would be good for you. And I said, why not? I also do it in UI because I did my last master's degree. My 2 masters are actually in the University of Ibadan. But when I love the setting of American University, they were prompt. The orientation was different. They didn't delay. They attended to students. They prioritized instead of the students. So I said, okay, let me throw my hat in the ring and pursue a PhD. Why not?
I used to see you in Dr. BC's office.
Yeah, okay.
Professor.
Nice man. Nice man. He taught us ethics, journalism ethics, and one other topic like that. I can't remember one other subject he taught us, but he's a good man.
What was your PhD about?
I did my PhD in, I specialized in actually broadcasting. But I started in broadcasting. But when my thesis was on media ownership. I look at media ownership, the challenges of media ownership, the influence of media owners on media content as against the ethics of the profession. And it was very interesting. I just opposed a public media and a private media ownership structure. How does it impact positively or negatively on the media content?
And what were some of the findings?
Yes, research methodology, my findings reveal that indeed owners have huge influence on media content. They shape media outcomes to a great extent. And that it may be a negation of the ethics of the profession. It's like an abuse of privilege in some instances.
Where perhaps some owners might have collected money from.
Not only money, that's even small. If you have a political preference,
and they would impose a
political
special
and you tailor your
on
media organization's content to suit your political preference. That is unethical. It's a betrayal of the trust. It is not in tandem with the principle of social responsibility theory of the media. Those are my revelations. And it's a reality. You know, the essence is to add to the body of knowledge, contribute to knowledge. That's the essence. And it's there on the shelf. And somebody else may just pick it up next time and use it to shape broadcast ethics in Nigeria.
So I have to I cannot, I may not call it 2 questions, but I have 2 standpoints I would love to talk about. If it was a young Femi Adefila that is hosting a podcast show like this, what advice would you have given him? And of course, what role do you think luck plays out in such a career?
In life, you call it luck, I call it grace. Okay. I'm a Christian. And when the Bible says, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, it's a sacrosanct thing. You can't query God. You can't go to him and interrogate him. Why would you do that? He said, I am that I am. I must confess to you, grace and luck, they are intertwined. And they play a role in shaping people's pathway in life. There's no doubt about that. But I will just tell you to be more aggressive. You called me. to be more tenacious, to be more dedicated, not to be discouraged at the initial stage. Every good thing and great thing in life starts very small. You won't start with a bang. Davido didn't know that his first album would be a boom. He dropped it and went back to school. It was his friend that told him that I was in the club yesterday, they were playing your music. He had tried. So don't be tired of trying. It is in trying that the success will come. In fact, if you hit the headline the very first attempt, you must be suspicious. It won't last. You got to toy. 2016 was my most strenuous year as an adult. I nearly quit. There was no money. I had challenges. My kids were abroad. I couldn't pay. I was paying salary twice a month. I couldn't pay once. I couldn't even do well for myself. But 2017, the break came, big break. And we now pay salary with ease. It is what you do when the challenges come that is a test of faith. So once you pass that test, and your faith will always be tested. When you start anything new, for it to gestate and to become strong, you must go through a phase that is difficult. It's the nature of life. That's how life is. Go and listen to the Dangotes of this world. People celebrate the success of today. That's why I don't like social media, because it presents the success phase.
Without skill.
It doesn't pay attention to the process. That's a process to every success. That's a process. Today you go to Adeleke University, go and ask Deji what he went through in life, Dr. Deji Adeleke, before he became the big boy, Baba Lowo, that we celebrate today. That is the process that social media will not reveal to you. It just show you his Rolls Royce, his private jet, his homes everywhere. This was with Dangote. When he was hawking stuff in Lagos and he started selling cement, nobody knew that. Nobody asked him. Nobody bothered. Today we are celebrating and we are focused on the success as the biggest boy in Africa. But there was a process to that. So in life, just know there's a process to what you are doing. If you are tenacious, you are stoic, you are committed, you develop perseverance and dedication, your radio station may come in the next couple of years. That's why it happens. But the test will come. And the test is in not having money for transportation, your light will not work, one of your phone will break, will got broken, and there's no money to fix it. But what you do at that time is what God will use to validate your interest and now compensate you. That's how life works. But this days generation, this Gen Z generation, social media generation, the knowledge is not there. That's a process.
But the ignorance cannot actually negate the reality.
Yeah.
It cannot erase the reality.
The reality is always there. And that is why people are looking for quick fix, the Indomie generation. But if you want something that is going to be enduring, will be long lasting, that's why I read a lot of biographies. I want to know and have a feel of people's experience.
What are some of your favorite biographies?
Well, I've read a lot of biographies. I read Awolowo, all his books. And each time I read his book, I'm fascinated by the kind of life he lived. I've read Abiola. I've read George Washington. Beautiful life, great life. Failure became success. I've read Thomas Jefferson. I've read a lot of. I've read Bill Clinton. Do you know Obama? Obama was just a random boy before he went to Chicago. We had something in his core. He went to the best universities. His father left him at 2 and returned at 12. 10 years interregnum, no father figure. Thereafter, the father died. Dream from my father was a product of this interface he had with his father for just 3 months. He became American president. The mother raised him alone, no father figure. The mother remarried, lived in Indonesia.
Yes.
Look at him today. Not everybody can be Trump that was born into wealth and started business with $1 million. No, not everybody. It's just one in a million. Clinton, Clinton's Bill Clinton. Clinton was not his father's name. It was another man's name that he picked. I love his aura, his color, charisma in governance. Bill Clinton. Go and read Obasanjo's many books. So you'll be inspired. Making it big. Femi Adefila, go and read it.
Yes, I've read that.
He did not even complete primary secondary school.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Left
That's a big boy. That's a very big boy. His father was a governor, but he was working his father's press.
Yes.
That's a very big boy. That's how life happens. It doesn't just happen. That's a process to it happening. That's a process. And that's what is important. We must teach this generation that that's a process. Process is about effort, tenacity, commitment.
And
Keep your eyes on the ball.
And what do you see as the future of journalism in Nigeria?
Yeah, the future is bright. You see, journalism will not die. It will change form and shape.
Because there's an idea I've always been discussing with my friends that why do we in Africa not have a media organization that covers the whole continent?
That's a challenge. The African continent is challenged. We are challenged as a people. There are so many challenges. The black race. When I travel abroad, I live in. I'm a U.S. citizen. I have American passport. I won American lottery. I didn't have to go and do any funny thing. So I won it right here. I went there, and it's a pleasure to live there. You will see organizations that are more than 300 years old, from generation to generation. Apart from First Bank, you can't have more than 120 years old organization in Nigeria. Have you thought of that?
That are indigenous.
I was in Italy sometime 2025 or 2026. No, 2025. And I saw a train station that was built in 1823. It was written on the steel, one of the big steels. Do you have anything standing like that today, Benjamin? But journalism will change in shapes and forms, but it will still remain. People will always desire to consume media content. People love to be informed, love to be entertained, they love to be educated. So that will create a space for the relevance of the media. So there's no existential threat to media as it were. Social media is also media in another form.
Yeah.
So it's journalism in another form.
Thank you so much for
It's a pleasure.
this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
And that brings our interview today to the end. We have been privileged to have the moment with Dr. Femi Adefila, founder and owner of Wave FM and Western Spring Television.